So tonight, I thought we'd do something cool and have one of the most interesting conversations of your entire life. When I zoom out on planet Earth and I try to assess, like, what is the most important thing happening on this planet right now? Like, absolutely the most important thing, quiet everything else. I think it's that we're developing artificial intelligence. We're giving birth to superintelligence. There is no model of human thought that addresses what you do when you give birth to superintelligence. I want to propose to you that don't die is the thing we do. Don't die is the most played game by every human on the planet, every second of every day. Okay, so what I've been trying to do over the past few years, this is what I'm going to talk about today, is I've tried to become the most don't die person in human history. I'm suggesting that don't die is, in a couple years' time, is going to become the most powerful ideology in existence. Okay, cool. We have a lot to get done. What's up? This is a comedy special. You guys know that? Yeah. Okay, have you guys heard of Don't Die? What do you think it's about?
Not dying.
Yeah, what else?
Staying healthy.
Yeah, longevity, what else? Anything else? Yeah.
Slow down your aging process through cellular protection.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, what's going on? What? Okay, cool. So tonight, I thought we'd do something cool and have one of the most interesting conversations of your entire life. Yeah? Yeah? Cool. So it's going to require everyone to be present and to be engaged. And there's a few ground rules. So it's important that a lot of you speak because you're going to understand things through the opinions of other people. 2 is when you do speak, keep your comments snappy. 10, 20 seconds. Monologues, just take the energy down. And 3 is be open-minded as we kind of explore this, okay? So we're going to start with the question. If you had access to an algorithm that could give you the best physical and mental and spiritual health of your life, but in exchange for and if you had access to that, and the algorithm told you when to go to bed, what to eat, and how to exercise, but in exchange you got the best physical, mental, spiritual health of your life, would you say yes or would you say no? Yes. One person at a time. Yes. You raise your hand. Yes. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Why?
I want to live longer.
Okay, I want to live longer. Okay. What others? Yes.
I want to be the best.
Yes. So clean. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I want to have clean energy and focus while I'm also alive for longer.
Sounds very good. Okay. No's.
Depends.
Okay. Good. Why?
What's the trade-offs are?
Yeah, good. No, we don't know. The only thing you know is you report it's the best physical and mental and spiritual health of your life. Outside of that, you have no idea what the algorithm does. So?
Hell yeah.
I'll go yeah.
Okay, yes, all right. Other no's? Yeah.
I don't feel like listening to an app or to an algorithm.
Right.
The fact that it's telling me what to do, it hurts me.
Yeah, so you have a model of the world where you want to do certain things, and an algorithm imposing itself is annoying to you.
Right.
Okay, understandable. And there's no correct answer here. Yes or no, they're both good. So others, thoughts?
It would free up mental space just to, set your life with optimism.
Yeah. Does someone say they can't hear? Okay, yeah, so free up mental space. So clean yes. Most of you are yeses, yeah.
No, so there's someone way there.
Oh, someone else wants to comment up there?
Say no.
Okay.
Not understand how the algorithm works and not feel like it's money.
Yeah, exactly, legitimate. So we don't know how the algorithm works, and so giving up your ability to make decisions, understandable, so no. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's one.
Well, it's kind of like yes and no because what if someone else's algorithm works for them but not for me?
Yeah, so the data point is you know it gives you the best physical and mental, spiritual health of your life. And so that's what you say. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, now that's thought experiment number 1, there's 5. Okay, now thought experiment number 2. Imagine those who exist in the 25th century just watched this conversation. They heard me pose the question to you, and they heard your responses. What do they say about your intelligence, about your morals, your values, your ethics, your judgment? What do they say about you?
That it's important for us to be at our prime, but we also want to maintain control.
Yep. Yeah, we want to be at our prime and also want to be in control. Yep. Others, what else did they say? And to like frame this properly, imagine you're looking at people who exist in the 3rd century, or even 3,000 years ago, or even cavemen, and you're assessing them and their intelligence. So it's a few hundred years in the future, they're probably unfathomably more advanced than we are. So again, they're judging us from that perspective. Yeah.
Well, I think if you look at Greek philosophy, it resonates obviously with people in the modern day. I think there will definitely be threats to that still.
So you think that what has been will continue to be?
I think there's probably some core truths, but I think our approach will definitely likely change.
Okay, so you think that many of the ways humans think and act are durable over this time period?
Well, depends what, I mean, are we humans at that point, right? Are we symbiotic?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that's the question, is like if you move a few hundred years in the future, yeah, like, so it's an imagination exercise. And so when we look back at cavemen and we assess them, we're pretty brutal, right? We look down upon them, we have a superiority complex, we think we're much more advanced and intelligent.
Do you think we'll be alive then?
It's just a thought experiment. The assumption is yes. So the first question is meant to provoke, your response. The second one is just a model of reflection, like what could be the case. Yeah.
Potentially ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
They just didn't know, but they were still, happy speaking shit potentially.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if we just trace where we've been so far, is the first question is meant to provoke a response on what we think is, so I posed a question that was complicated, and you were trying to grapple with this complication, and so you went to your mind and you said, how do I understand reality? And so, for example, someone back here said, well, I don't trust models of existence, I want to verify. Others said, I want to be my best self, so yes. But you basically chose a model of how you understand the world, and you applied it to this question. All of you applied different models of reality. And then when you took the second question, you saw in a more humble state that we know the future typically looks back on any time and place and judges them. That what we think about values today are not truth, they're just ephemeral phenomena. Whatever we value as norms just kind of goes away in time. So we're not speaking truth like math or physics. All right, third question. When I zoom out on planet Earth and I try to assess, like, what is the most important thing happening on this planet right now? Like, absolutely the most important thing, quiet everything else, I think it's that we're developing artificial intelligence. We're giving birth to superintelligence. Now, whether you're bullish on AI or bearish on AI doesn't really matter. Over some time duration, AI is improving at a speed that is unfathomable to our minds. It will be better at us than in everything. So the question is, as a species, what do we do when we give birth to AI? Like, this is a legitimate question, right? Like, the US is doing its thing, OpenAI, Anthropic, all these companies, you have the open source model from Meta, China's doing their thing, India's doing their thing, Israel, etc. When we build AI, do we become better at war? Do we become better at making money? Do we become better at social media? Like, what do we do as a species? Do we regulate it? Do we let it be open? Do we try to create models that keep each other in check? Can they use nuclear weapons? Like, what do we do? Pray? Yeah, pray. Well, that's a strategy, yep.
The same thing that humans always do is you just let it keep going until it really hits you in the face and knocks you out before you make change. So we're not going to change anything until it's like dire straits.
Yeah, that's typically how humans behave, that's true. Yeah.
And it should be for amplifying individuals at scale in a way that we can't do it on. But to his point, humans always scale first, we kill people, and then they fix it.
Yeah. Now the risk here is that AI is, it's the most powerful technology we've ever developed, right? It's by far more powerful than nukes. And so like, it really is like the most pressing question in existence. Like there's just nothing more important. And so we can do what we've always done, and that's just gonna play out. The question is there something else we can do? I mean, there's like this question, like, are we humans gonna be around? Like we give birth to AI, like, do we have a future? Like this is a legitimate question, and it's not clear. So again, like, what do you think we do? And you guys, hang with me on all these questions. I'm gonna tie this back to something that you'll find very relevant, so just hang with me. I promise there's a happy ending here that you will value.
So, when I was in high school, it said
Remember, 10 to 20 seconds.
that before computer age, in my was then science fiction class, and there was a book I read called Play the Piano, and it talked about how, you know, computer age came about. It talked about how they were going to need to come to a point where it's just the elite, the blue collar, the very, you know, educated that would pretty much be running everything. Everyone below that would be kind of like no need for man. They would just be roaming the streets and bars. So I mean, I just see that it's going to come to, you know, that was science fiction now starting to come out.
Yep. Yeah, and it's, I agree, most of those things are coming to reality and more that were not imagined. Yep, like just recently, one of the AI models got a Nobel Prize for solving protein folding. Okay, so I'm gonna summarize this and say that basically, I think we all could probably agree, we don't know. Legit? We don't know. So, a few patterns I want you to recognize. In the first question I posed to you, you know, would you say yes to this algorithm? You referenced models in your mind, and you said, I have an answer, and I feel pretty confident in this answer. I gave you the second thought experiment with the 25th century, and you said, maybe my answer is not that legit. Like maybe in time and place, I'm gonna be viewed as like something kind of primitive. The third, I gave you a question, and you had answers again. You went to your model of your mind, and you said, how do I solve this problem? Do I think about it through democracy? Do I think about it through competition? Do I think about it through capitalism? You went to models of how you understand reality. I want to propose to you that there is no model of human thought that addresses what you do when you give birth to superintelligence. There is no way that humans think about reality today that is actually equal to this moment. Not capitalism, not democracy, not Islam, not Christianity, not wokeism, not anything. There's nothing that addresses the moment. We have no idea what to do. I want to propose to you that don't die is the thing we do. And so it sounds cheeky, but it's actually a multi-layered concept. So here it is. Don't die is the most played game by every human on the planet every second of every day. Every one of us play don't die every single second. We breathe. The majority of our metabolic activity is being allocated to keeping our bodies alive. If you look at the biomass on planet Earth, that is what all biology does. It's just trying to stay alive. It's trying not to die. Animals and all biology. So on this Earth, the game that's being played is don't die. Now, once you're not dead, you can play other games like capitalism, you can play democracy, you can play love, you can play like all these other games we play, but that is a zeroth order priority. It is the single thing we can agree upon. So don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. There is no other answer in existence on what we do as a species. Don't die is the most powerful mimetic out there. And elegantly, it's not just don't die as a narrative that we humans say, like we want to live tomorrow, but it's also reducible. This is a kind of a complicated idea. It's reducible to math. Okay, so what I've been trying to do over the past few years, this is what I'm going to talk about today, is I've tried to become the most don't die person in human history. I've tried to demonstrate the future of existence. Okay, so here's the concept, is when you acquire powers in the form of AI, the only thing you care about is entropy. The only thing you care about is that the battery of life runs out. Existence becomes the highest virtue. And so what I've tried to do is I hired a team of 30 medical professionals. We measured every organ in my body. We said, what's the biological age of every organ? Then we took all the best science, we applied it to my body and said, can we actually slow down my speed of aging and reverse aging damage? And can we do this in an algorithm, where the algorithm actually takes better care of me than my mind can? So basically, it's like my mind is going to want to eat donuts, and it's going to want to eat pizza, and it's going to want to stay up late and drink alcohol. But my body, when it's in charge and it works with science and data, it can run this closed-loop algorithm. And so I arguably have the best biomarkers in the world. I don't know anyone in the world who has better biomarkers than me currently. Now, I'm sure there are. They're just not as measured as I am. But still, I went from a 43-year-old that had trashed myself as an entrepreneur and had chronic depression for 10 years and had bad health my entire life, to having top-tier biomarkers in the entire world. So it's really interesting data to show that when you apply these algorithms, you can achieve phenomenal outcomes. Now, you could just easily replace my body with planet Earth. So measure Earth with billions of data points. You look at what maintains a coral reef that is healthy for an environment, what maintains a healthy biosphere for the air and water. You measure it, you use science, you implement it. So let's bring up my slides. I'll walk you through a few things. So if some of you have been familiar with my work, you guys seen this? It's legit. Yeah. My nighttime erections are better than the average 18-year-old. Yeah. So nighttime erections are actually a really important biomarker for health. Did you know that if you're an entrepreneur and you're grinding and you get 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, guess how many boners you're having? Guess. 0. And did you know, the next slide, you know if you're not having boners at night, you might die early? Because it's a significant indicator of cardiovascular health, physiological health, and sexual health. It is a really big deal. Now, I talk about boners because in the early stages of Blueprint, I would talk about like my thymus, which is this gland behind my sternum, which runs my immune system, really important organ. We rejuvenated it by 7 years, like this amazing accomplishment. We talked about it, no one cares. Talk about boners, and people are like, wait, what? Next slide. So this is why it's important, is these topics are entry points into understanding these broader concepts, where when you're younger, you have a lot more nighttime erections, and women, females, you too have nighttime boners. They're just harder to measure, but you go through the same arousal cycle as men. So when you're 18 years old, you typically have like 3 to 5 arousal cycles where you will become erect for a certain duration of time at a certain strength, and then it goes away, and it happens in certain phases of sleep. So females have the same cycles as men, and it's the same representation of your actual health. And so as you're younger, you have a lot more, and then as you age, it goes down. So basically your capacity declines with age. And this is important because, as we all know, you all are hustlers in life, like all of you are hustling, I'm sure. And hustling, especially when it comes to the cost of your health, has significant complications. So next slide. Next one. So this is true. So my nighttime erections are the length of the Titanic. So 3 hours, yep. And so the movie Titanic is 3 hours and 8 minutes. And so, but that's not, we actually, when we started, I was actually at 1 hour and 2 hours and 12 minutes. And then we found a few therapies. It was focused shockwave therapy and Botox. Both those two things had clinical evidence that could improve the function of the penis, especially nighttime erections, and we increased it to that amount of time. Next slide. So this is to demonstrate that science begins with counting, that you can make remarkable insights in life based upon biological measurement. Next. So I mentioned this before. We basically endeavored to say, what can you do with the human body today? And so, for example, like my cardiovascular ability is in the top 1.5% of 18-year-olds. My bone mineral density is the top 1% of 30-year-olds, which is age minute for the test, and so on and so forth. Like my biomarkers are stunningly good. And I say this because I hope it gives you hope that as a 43-year-old, I was really trashed. Like I was 50 pounds overweight. I was in terrible health. My clinical markers showed I was at high risk of premature death. And so we turned this around pretty quickly, so you too can do this. And it does not require millions of dollars. We made it very easy. Next. All right, so I'm now going to do an intervention with each one of you. Next. Okay. Who here slept 8 hours of sleep last night? Had 8 hours of sleep? Good job. Who had 7? You have to be honest. 6. Okay, yeah, like quite a few. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Anyone pull an all-nighter? Okay. So I want to quickly talk to you guys and try to get you to commit today that sleep is your #1 life priority. Who thinks that's possible? I want to convince you to design your entire life around sleep. Okay, so right now, culturally, it's common that we will sleep when we're finished with our movie. We'll sleep when we're finished with our show, or after work. We'll sleep when we feel tired. But it's not a priority. It's not like we show up on time every day like it's our most important meeting of the day. Could we turn the light off? But it's blue light. It's going to negatively affect my sleep. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 5 habits to practice. So what gives me the authority to talk about sleep? I am a gold medal sleeper. I have the best sleep score in human history. Thank you. Now, no one else is competing. Thank you. I have 8 months of perfect sleep. And so if you have a wearable like Whoop or something, you know getting 1 night of 100% is pretty hard. I had 8 months of continuous perfect sleep. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's how I did it. I spent this 8 months perfecting sleep. So one is your identity, that it's important that you identify as a professional sleeper. Okay, so you are an entrepreneur, or you are whatever you are, and that is a serious professional identity you have, and you take it very seriously. You need to take sleep just as seriously. And you need to be convinced that if you do sleep, it's gonna have a return on investment. That's gonna make you a better person in life. You're gonna have better ideas, you're gonna make more money, you're gonna be more successful, you're gonna be more happy. I mean, just statistically in this room, the majority of you have very serious mental health problems. Right? It's true. Like, let's just be honest, it is true. The majority of you have very serious mental health problems. And a lot of that is due to not having adequate sleep. And so the first line of defense is not drugs. The first line of defense is sleep and exercise and diet, but sleep is #1. Okay, so it's really important for your own mental health and for everyone around you that you are a professional sleeper, because it is the most powerful drug that is accessible to you. #2 is light regulation. Like, so what I do at my house is I go to bed at 8:30. So tonight I'm gonna be a little late. Yeah, I'm gonna be late because some motherfucker was late earlier, which caused me to be late. Who was that? Who's the motherfucker who got to be late tonight? Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're light. So I go to bed at 8:30, so that means at 7:30, all screens are off. Because blue light really negatively affects. You can use something called Flux, F-L-U-X what is it, something? Just Google Flux, and that kills blue light on your screens. But try to kill your screens, and then in my house, we use red light. So we just have a red bulb in a lamp, we turn it on, and it's amazing how light affects the environment. When you have blues or big screens, it really negatively affects your sleep. And so try to lower your lights in the house, and if you can use red light, great. You will see that it will calm you and get ready for sleep robustly. Screens will keep you awake. #2 or 3, lighter and earlier. Now this is a good one. I eat my last meal of the day at 11 a.m. So, and this, you don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna tell you where the data and science took me. So I was basically asking this question, so when you eat food, your body has to spin up metabolic resources to digest food, right? It has to like allocate attention to say, I need to digest this stuff, and it requires blood glucose and a whole bunch of other processes. And so after 6 hours, your body's finished digesting food. And so what I found is I started measuring my last meal of the day, 1 hour before bed, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I found that the further I pushed it back, the lower my heart rate was before I went to bed. So when my head hits the pillow at 8:30 p.m., my resting heart rate's between 42 and 46, like ish. Now when I have that, I'm gonna have a perfect night's sleep, guaranteed. If my heart rate is 49 or 56 or 61, I'm guaranteed to lose 40% of my sleep quality. It's absolutely algorithmic. So I also know, like, if I eat at 5 or 6 or 7, it's guaranteed to boost my heart rate to like 51 to 55. I can just map the calorie increase or the time increase to that. If I eat something heavy like a pizza or pasta, which I never eat, but I experimented with, then that also increases the heart rate. And so what you can do as an experimentation is have your last meal of the day 2 hours before bed, and then go back to 3, and then do 4, and do 5, and just experiment. And I say this every time to people, like, you do you, like, find out your thing. I've never heard anyone do this experiment and report back to me that they sleep better when they eat right before bed. It just doesn't happen. Now, you may be the anomaly. Like, maybe you're the one that breaks all the rules, but generally speaking, when you eat further away from your bedtime, you will sleep better. So eat earlier and lighter. Next. So yeah, when I was doing this, to be clear, I did the 8 months, and then I broke my streak. I did a 1 a.m. show with Steve Aoki in Vegas. I went to bed at 7:30, got up and did a set with Steve Aoki, then went back to bed to celebrate. So I'm not doing it anymore. But when I was doing the consistent bedtime, I was in bed plus or minus 1 minute every night. So I was like that precise in my bedtime. Now, when I did that, my body was so responsive that when 8:29 would come, my brain would literally dump chemicals and be like, we're ready. Like, it was so amazing that I hit the pillow, I was out in 2 minutes, and I'd have this perfect night's sleep. So your body loves routine, it loves rhythm, and it loves predictability. So identify your bedtime, and then be plus or minus 30 minutes. 60 minutes is okay, but you really want 30 minutes. So try very, very hard to be consistent. And finally, this is a really important one, is you need a wind down routine. So a lot of you have morning routines in life. But a wind down routine is really important because, like, even tonight, you guys are gonna go home and you're gonna be in your house, and you'll be getting closer to your bedtime, and your mind's gonna be thinking about everything that happened today. Like the people you met, the conversations you had, the things you forgot to do, the one thing you said that was awkward, that made someone else maybe feel offended. Like, you're gonna be cycling through all these things. And when you do that, you're still aroused in the day, and you're taking that to your bedtime. So what I do at 7:30 is I activate Sleep Bryan. Okay, so he comes onto in his responsibility, and so 7:30, Sleep Bryan's in charge, and then I have a thought. Ambitious Bryan says, I have this new idea about this new thing we can do. And Sleep Bryan says, Ambitious Bryan, thank you. We appreciate you, we see you, you're an amazing person. Right now, we are in sleep mode. Tomorrow, we have all day long to talk about all of your plans. And Ambitious Bryan says, but wait, like, we've gotta think this through right now, just like a few more steps. And Sleep Bryan says, I'm so sorry, we are now in sleep mode. Ambitious Bryan, we appreciate you, tomorrow we have all day. And the next minute later, Anxious Bryan's gonna say, you know what, but that interaction today, you probably said something really silly and made that person not like you. You fucked it up. Thank you, Anxious Bryan. Appreciate you keeping me in check, right? But we know these things happen, right? So it's trying to address your inner dialogue that we all have. Because if you go to sleep and you're having the inner dialogue and your head is a pillow, all night long you're gonna cycle through these thoughts. So you need to calm your nervous system, because as you do this, you're still aroused in the day. Also, you can read a book, go for a walk. For example, reading a book is as good as a sleeping pill. So it's as good as a drug. But find your activity. So 1 hour before your bed, start your routine, activate your sleep mode, and then do some kind of activity. But don't have a fight. Like, if you're gonna fight with a partner or someone else, like, don't fight in your 1 hour before bed. Don't have arousing work stuff, and just try to be chill generally, okay? All right, those 5 things. If you do those 5 things, you will have the best sleep of your life, and I would also suggest you will be the best person of your entire life. You will never be better in your entire life, in anything you do. All right, so I'm being serious about this. Who's willing to commit to this? And if you're not, please don't raise your hand. Okay, half. Okay, can I find out who is not willing and why? Yes.
You mentioned arousal. Nighttime sometimes conflicts with that.
I think you said arousing works.
Yeah, like what kind of arousal?
Well, that's true, but the normal
like sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people. So do your sex thing, fine. Just measure it. Yeah. So like, see, because a lot of my friends, like some friends say sex helps them sleep better. Some say it actually makes their sleep worse. So just know the trade-off. But like, do your thing. Like, and there's like a practical part of life, but just know. Yeah. So that aside, so do sex. Are you in?
Well, one other question. You said I can't remember the wording. You said like focused chakras, right?
Focused shock wave therapy.
Okay. Well, do you practice with the boners, the 3-hour boners, to like being celibate?
No, we haven't. There's no good data. Yeah, there's no good data on that either. That actually increases lifespan, health span. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Most things that are commonly talked about on social media are wrong.
Yeah, some people say ejaculating more forces your body to create more testosterone, and then the latter is always transfer the energy up from that gland to your hypothalamus and nail gland.
Yeah, it's a myth.
So it's a myth.
Yeah, there's no evidence. There was one study that showed a temporary increase in testosterone, but it went away after 3 or 4 days. So there's no data to show that it's a longevity practice. Now, like, it may have other contributions. We're entirely health span, lifespan focused. But yeah, the framework that's true is not true. All right, who else said no? You said no?
Well, just to run that theme of ejaculation, it's, if a guy ejaculates and that comes from the cream the blood in the body within the bone marrow, how does that lead to lengthening our life?
Oh, you're saying like it spends.
Of ejaculation.
Yeah. I mean, like women have like what? Like I'm assaulted. Could you turn that off? Yeah, so women, I think, have something like 3 million eggs that they have over a lifetime. And I don't think that men have a certain number, so like that they have to be fertile. I don't think men have a similar situation. I don't think we're having endowed like a certain number of sperm, and if you ejaculate, you spend it down. Yeah. Yeah. So who had no on sleep? Yeah.
I'm curious, assume you know this before you became an skills in hours when you do.
Yeah, so as an entrepreneur, right? Yeah, okay, so yes. Yeah, I sold my company, I made a few $100 million, and people now, they fairly say to me, but you're on the other side, so it's easy for you to say that. And is that your comment?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I work as hours.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's the thing you guys really need to understand, is our current cultural norms tell us that if you're not hurting yourself to a point of your health being hurt, you're not working hard enough. And we're all pressured into that social norm. If you get 8 hours of sleep, it's not like you can brag about it and people are like, good job. If you say, I got 2 hours of sleep, people will be like, damn, bro, you're really hitting it, aren't you? Good job, man. We reward insanity. It's really foolish. So let me just give you a couple stats. 1 night of bad sleep, 4 hours or less, your NK cells are cancer killing cells. 1 night of 4 hours of sleep lowers your cancer killing cells by 70%. It like shuts down your body. 1 night of bad sleep, you are basically legally drunk. Like, so 16, 18 hours, actually no, the data is something like 20 hours of continuous wake time, your blood alcohol level is between 0.05 and 0.08. Like, you're actually legally inebriated. So it's a really bad thing. And so the key thing that you have to believe is if you make sleep your top priority, that you will be able to be everything you want to be in life. You all have goals. You all have ideas in your life of what you want to become. And you need to arrive at the belief that you can become that thing by getting 8 hours of sleep. The sleep actually improves the probability you will accomplish your goals. You have to get there though. If you hang out in the current cultural norm, Whereas somehow you're fed this idea that if you grind, that you'll do it. It's a falsehood. Now, I know you're going to resist this. You're not going to believe me already, but if I go back in time and tell this to myself, you can do epic things and get 8 hours of sleep a night. In a few years' time, the cultural norms are going to shift, and this is going to be the norm. And our future selves will look back at this time and be like, God, we were really stupid. So just know it's coming. So I want to give you guys permission and tell you, you can be epic, you can be everything you want in life, and prioritize 8 hours of sleep, and this is the best thing you can do for your mental health. Who else said? Yeah. Give yourself a hand, encourage yourselves. Who else says no? Yeah, so I'm late for sleep, so I'm finishing this talk probably 8:30, and it'll take me 10 minutes to get home, and so I'll be in bed by 9:05, and that will cause me to miss about 30 minutes of deep sleep. So when you miss your bedtime, it chews up your deep sleep. You don't make up for it later at night. You go into your deep sleep window, then you come up and you do REM. And so you can't just go to bed whenever you want. You have to go to bed at a specific time, and your sleep patterns are very consistent. And so I'm going to pay a price, and so tomorrow morning, I'm not going to feel great. I'm going to feel like I have a deficit. So I'm definitely, I feel it. I'm so sensitive to it. Whereas when you're just sleep deprived all the time, you just don't feel it, because you're just numb to the whole thing, I would definitely feel it.
Why do you sleep?
Oh, it's just, I tested a whole bunch of times. I tested 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, so I just followed data. And same time with my eating window, I ran a few hundred tests of I wanted to build an algorithm to say, if I do these 5 things, I'm gonna get perfect sleep. Because when you lay your head down to go to sleep, it's almost like a guessing game. Am I gonna sleep well or not? You have no idea, right? And there's so many variables, did you drink alcohol? Are you really worried about something? Did you eat late? Did you eat a certain kind of food that's really late? And so I wanted this to be like computer code. You write the code, it runs every time the same. I wanted my life to just be consistent, high quality sleep, with control the variables, and it works. And so that's why you have to build your life around this. If you actually have systems in place, you will reliably get good quality sleep. Right now, it's just chaotic right now. No one does these systematic ways of approaching this, so everyone's sleep is just chaotic. 5, naturally, never with an alarm. And my body's, it's on the clock so tightly, it's just very consistent. I don't need an alarm. Yes?
I agree with what you said, and really would like to commit to 8 hours sleep. But the problem is, people social. No matter you go out for dinner, to get together with your friends, or for business dinner, or there are all kinds of over dating, right? There are all kinds of reasons for you to go out at night.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Just tell them to fuck off. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah. No, so initially your friends will give you a hard time, and initially they're not going to agree. Just try to slowly nudge an earlier time. So if you're going out to have dinner, instead of starting dinner at 8:30, try to start dinner at 7:30. If you just slowly inch it back. And so these norms take time to change, but it's definitely doable. And so my friend group, we now all do things so we can all get our bedtime. So I have a bedtime at 8:30, some of my friends go to bed at 10:30, but it's just changing the cultural norm. Right now, we do things like parties start at midnight, 11 p.m., etc. We drink very late. So it's just having the mental clarity that our current cultural norms are insane. And in a few years' time, we will see this. We will definitely look back and say, that's crazy, and life is now so much better. It's happening. The zeitgeist around health and wellness and longevity is coming. You look at all the data, it is coming. It's we're just ahead of the curve. So you can do it now, or you can do it when everyone else is doing it in a few years, but definitely it's coming.
I totally agree with you. And actually, because I saw the video before, and also I read some books about longevity and aging as well. So I tried. But when I tried it, quite a few of my friends said, you're crazy.
Exactly.
You have to be so disciplined. You can do
Yeah. Yeah, you know, if you look at societal change, it takes like a teeny amount of the population to actually change, and then everyone else changes because that change happens, and everyone just does it because it's the norm. So it doesn't take very many of us to actually change the world. We just need to establish these habits. And so, like when I open up with this conversation, I'm suggesting that don't die is, in a couple years' time, is going to become the most powerful ideology in existence. It will be more powerful than democracy, than capitalism, than Christianity, than Islam. It will supersede all these things. And it will be a political system, it'll be economic, it'll be moral, it'll be ethical, it will be computational. That's the bet, because nothing in existence addresses this moment. And so this is a very high level concept, and it also is very practical on what time you go to bed. And that's why this is the most important conversation in the entire world. Like literally, there's no more important conversation. As a species, we're talking about our survival. And so it starts with our bedtime, and it goes to how we treat our health and wellness. It maps to if we're actually mentally sane, or whether we're struggling with our own sanity. So it's all very up and down. Yeah.
So, in continuation for her question, so I think if I don't necessarily need to sleep at 8:30
Right.
you to get 8 hours sleep. I can sleep at midnight.
Yes.
And get up at 9 a.m. So
Yes.
That's the same. You know, I get 9 hours of sleep.
Yes, that's true.
It's the same quality, or I have to sleep earlier.
Nope, you do you. Yep. So just be aware of, like, there's one study that came out that showed that people who don't have at least half their sleep done by 4 in the morning have something like a 400% increase of diabetes risk. Something like that. It was a very big number and a very significant risk. So just know there's some point in time where too late is too late, but otherwise choose your bedtime and do you. Yeah.
How about traffic, like when I'm traveling from Los Angeles or from America?
Yeah.
Each time difference, I have to change my routine.
Yeah.
It might take me like 3 weeks to get to do this routine, then I travel to another country.
Yeah, just don't travel. I just went to Singapore, so I hear you. And I went to Singapore, and the most helpful thing to do getting adaptation is you want to start your circadian rhythm. Like you want to tell your body, we are on a new time zone. So when you arrive, exercise first thing in the morning, eat first thing in the morning. You want to tell your body, start the clock, we're in a new space, right when you get there. The other trick is don't eat on the airplane, because once you eat on the airplane, it just like messes up all kinds of things fast on the airplane. Then once you arrive, be on the time zone immediately. And it'll take you, so I adapted from like 4 days or so, but you know, like I'm also starting at a good spot. But I hear you, travel also travel is very costly on health. Like it's not free. So I try to avoid travel as much as I can. Big time zone changes like really wreck your systems. Yeah, very costly. Yeah.
Familiar with that Universe 25 experiment?
I'm not.
So they did an experiment with mice, and they gave them the optimal environment to succeed. Long story short, they were trying to see how many mice were created in this optimal environment. They had the capacity of 3,000, but what ended up happening with the mice degenerated in all kinds of weird behaviors and patterns, and the society collapsed within 300. So when you say that this is going to supersede other ethical systems that have been around for thousands of years, can you talk about the purpose and ethical ramifications of having don't die superseding these other moral beliefs?
Yeah, I love it. Cool. Because it's very practical. As a species, we are transitioning from knowing to not knowing. So let me give you a practical example. So when I went to college, I could decide what I was going to study, decide what that career was going to be, and then map it to retirement. My 19-year-old son just finished his first year of school doing math and physics. But he has no idea what to study 2 years from now when he's going to be in the job, in the market. No clue. Does he study humanities? Is it math? Is it physics? Is it CS? He has no idea. I have no idea. No human on planet Earth has any idea. No one knows. So in one generation, we went from being able to predict a lifetime to not be able to know what's going to happen even a year from now. As a species, we cannot see in front of us anymore. Our ability to model the future has been radically changed. We have no clue. And now if you look at the speed of these AI models, they're progressing even faster. And so it's going to raise these questions of like, not only do we have jobs, but these other basic questions like, who do we trust? And who's in charge? And like all these basic questions about reality. And so the answers that humans have come up with to settle society are based upon that we know, that we have systems in place, we can plan out the future. When we don't know, it sacks us of our superpower, which is to plan. We have no idea what's coming our way. Therefore, you have to say, what is the only thing in existence we actually know, is we don't want to die in this moment. And so it's like eminently practical of a contemplation. So I can tell you, I've had this conversation with hundreds and hundreds of people. AI engineers, artists, teachers, politicians, engineers, like a full spectrum. There is currently no known second memetic that is even close to second place. Like people who have worked on AI research and AI alignment, there's nothing even close. Like if you say like, I'm going to do this through a democratic process, well, the world's not democratic. Right? Like we're a warfare and violent species. Everyone has different ideologies. And so I went through the conversation very, very fast. Usually it takes like 2 hours. But this is like, let me go through a few slides. Let me just give you this quick, one more. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. Like the seriousness of this moment, we just cannot be overstated. So this is showing that currently, like ChatGPT is as smart as like a high schooler. The recent model is about a PhD student. So it's on this upward trajectory. For this increase to happen, you don't need to believe any breakthroughs of AI are gonna happen. By 2027, they're gonna be as smart as the best AI researchers. And many people like Dario from Anthropic, he's thinking these models will be here in 2026, where AI will be as good as the best human researchers at developing AI. So AI will be better at developing AI than we are developing AI in like a year or 2 or 3, like something like that. At that point, like, it's off. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? So our visibility into the future is like, we cannot see. And so if you go to the next slide. So this is the problem, right? Everyone in the world has their own ideas about what to do. And they all vary. Next. That's what we're doing. Next. Yeah, so it's not, Don't Die is a religion, it's politics, it's economics, it's social, it's moral, it's all things. Go ahead. We said that. Next. Okay, so this is interesting. If you look at it from this historical perspective, we're run by just a few ideologies that have happened over time, right? So like, Confucius was like, hey, we have this culture of like family relationships. Like that's how we built society. And then Buddha was like, actually life kind of stinks and we should just detach ourselves from the suffering. And then Muhammad was like, Muhammad should be before Jesus. Muhammad was like, we should submit to God. And Jesus was like, I am the Son of God. And Adam Smith was like, hey, actually there's like markets and capitalism and this invisible hand. And then America was like, we the people. And Marx like, no, class warfare. And so these are like ideologies that have emerged over time, right? They like in their time and place, they're like addressing. It's very practical and reasonable to say, when a society is achieving this level of technological advance, what ideology is given birth? Like what is the major religion that happens right now? Like, we know that this happens, right? Like over time, like every time there's a technological revolution, new structures emerge to help you understand technology and human society. So what new realities are coming up? And right now, Don't Die, I'm putting forward, is the only contender that actually addresses human needs and our computational reality. And so, let me hit this point one more time. Don't Die is a story, and Don't Die is math. Because you can measure die. You can measure die in the body, you can measure die in the coral reef, you can measure die in a biosphere, you can measure die in any capacity. You're measuring, so it can be translated to zeros and ones. It can basically be an AI model. So if AI were to have a philosophy, or if AI were to have a religion, it is computationally suitable to be an AI religion. as well as a human religion, as well as political system, as well as economics. So again, I know this is very complicated, but I'm hoping you get the point. Like, if we make this through as a species, and the 25th century is looking back in time, like they may see you guys right now, like you guys may be in this conversation right now, like this may be like one of the most significant moments in history happening that I proposed to you. Like that's how serious this moment is, and like, but don't tell maybe the answer, maybe it's not. But I just currently there's nothing else that's better. All right, if we can get back to other stuff if you want. Yeah.
So living such a strict and regimented life, sometimes you want to eat pizza, you don't, and you want to maybe watch a movie later, you don't. How do you deal with the stress? Doesn't stress also affect responsibility?
Yeah, it's very counterintuitive that my life is not restricted and it's not algorithmic, it's actually freedom. So when I have to grapple in the morning, do I eat the croissant or not? I hate that. Then at lunch, if there's a cookie with the lunch, do I have to decide do I eat the cookie or not? Then at dinner, I have to decide do I eat a brownie and do I have a glass of wine or maybe 3? And then at night, I have to decide do I stay up late and watch 4 more episodes or not? I hate those. Like those decisions suck. And like most of the time, I make the wrong decision and then I feel awful. So actually, I appreciate my freedom. I now no longer have to deal with those problems. I now no longer have to deal with all the like shame, guilt, overweight, not sleep of doing these things. So the perception is that I've created a hell of my own making, and I view other people like it's the exact opposite. Like you're in your own hell, you don't realize it. So I'm free from having to be subjected to those decisions and the effects that they have in life. What do you think about that?
It's really interesting, kind of maybe the opposite of the life that most of us.
And the funny thing about all of us humans is we are so adaptable, right? Like we live in a reality and then reality changes. And then before we know it, we're in the new reality and the old reality is weird, right? Like we know this, like it happens all the time. So that's why the first question shows you in the thought experiment I did of like, if you had access to an algorithm, any reality we occupy is totally ephemeral. None of it's true. We can easily have a brand new reality that is just as true. And that's what's gonna happen. Like your reality as a 6-year-old is different than your reality as a 7-year-old. Both are true in that moment. So yeah, like that, a lot of perceptions on me are basically that, is like it's just like you're not status quo, therefore I'm gonna make my assessment. Yep.
So, like the idea of the choice there, it's like I'll say that you're saying that you've made choices, increase your optionality, and you've made confident agency in creating your own content. That then empowers you to do all of it better. Versus the opposite being we follow things that are not customizable, that are not that don't have optionality because we see only similar paths, and therefore we are a victim's path and we're going to make a choice similar to people. In that context, like part of that having optionality, some people have optionality versus actual optionality. We all have more than we think. How do you measure what tools you use to easily access the data and then realize your options?
Yeah. So I'm at a basic foundation. How are we doing in time? Yeah. Okay. How are we doing? Is this cool? Bad? Like, where are you guys at? Yeah? Okay. 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 So like the thing that I think is interesting here is that when I came here today, I used an algorithm. I plugged in the address and I just followed the instructions. I did that because it has better knowledge of me, of streets and traffic and directions. I didn't get out a map and memorize the streets and didn't chart it out with pencil. And so when an algorithm does something better than you can yourself, like saves you time or is more efficient or something, we say yes. And that's true, like when you scroll social media, you're asking the algorithm to entertain you, right? Like give me something that's gonna make me feel in a certain way. And so whenever algorithms cross a certain threshold of ability, we say yes to them. And what I've been trying to do with my project is I'm trying to say algorithms are now good enough to take care of our bodies. That we shouldn't be making decisions with our minds. Like I should not be deciding if I eat the croissant or not. My body should be deciding. Now to your point is that's why I've become the most measured person in human history. To say, can you measure every organ in the body, all the biological processes? Can you feed in, can you put it into an algorithm and then apply the science, and then can that spit out what to do and how? So I basically have said, the future of being human is not thinking about health. It's just systems. It's data in an algorithm informed by science in a closed-loop fashion that we don't have to think about. So
What are the tools that are accessible? I don't have the tools. So I've had it for 7 years. I have sleep apnea, and through the tracking of data from different devices, I think will predict and prevent and fix it.
yes,
However, I've had to go manually. I've had to
yes,
go through it's been complicated, and there isn't an easy or accessible tool by which to gather the exercise and use the device and how it's okay, but the overlay and the visibility and the understanding is hard.
agreed, entirely agree. It's very clunky right now, it's analog. You have to piece together wearables and MRIs and blood work and methylation. Totally agree with you. It is inconvenient and not great. Yep, like that sleep stuff I talked about is an algorithm of some sorts. Like those are universals that I think apply to most people. But I think in a couple of years' time, given the speed of how good measurement's getting, we'll just like notch away at this thing. It'll just become increasingly easier for our algorithms to run it. Yeah.
You use sleep aid, from your bed, do you cell, do you wake up?
Yeah, so I have an 8 sleep bed. Yeah, so if you can afford 8 sleep, I would recommend you do it. So it controls temperature. So temperature in your bed is really important. As you sleep, you'll want to dip down in temperature. Then as you wake up, you want to rise back up. And so the bed will naturally adjust its temperature. So if you have a temperature controlled mattress, it's really great. My room is blacked out, so I have curtains. It never sees the light of day. Yeah, I don't do anything in my bedroom except for sleep. So I don't work in there. I don't hang out in there. I don't watch TV in there. It's entirely for sleep. So my body knows when I go in that room and I lay down on the bed, I'm there to sleep. And so like there's 5 metrics you want on your sleep. So one is when your head hits the pillow, you want to be asleep in roughly 3 to 5 minutes. If you're up longer than that, then you have room to improve. You want to get roughly 2 hours of REM, 2 hours of deep, thereabouts. You want to be up less than 30 minutes a night. So if you're up for more than 30 minutes, you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, that's an area to improve. And then, yeah, those are like the big ones. So that if you hit that, you're like roughly around teenager level. And then as you age, it's harder and harder to sleep. This is true for women. Women, as they age, have to spend more time in bed to get the same quality. So it's much harder for women to achieve those goals as they age. Pardon me? Oh, yeah, I take 300 mcgs. So mcg is not a gram, mcg. So it's a very small dose. That's what's in the clinical trials. I do it because I'm 47. So my natural melatonin production is less, but otherwise no sleep aids. I don't take any sleep aids. The best is if you don't, like you try to eat your body's systems. And if you guys do these habits, you're gonna find they're more powerful than drugs. Your body will just lock into a system.
Would you consider a career change? Doing a lot of concerts, like 40 nights a year, which is less than 2%. I do measure my sleep, like for the last 1,800 nights. It was sleep cycle, the app.
Yeah.
I know my heartbeats, I know my habits. But it's been broken ever since I did concerts.
Yes.
Why are you better for that? Just switch it?
Yeah, the things is the question about travel. Someone asked. Yeah, like it's just like a trade-off. Like certain professions have a certain cost, and you just need to make a decision on whether it's worth it. Like I'm here tonight, and I'm sacrificing my sleep, right? So like I too am in the same decision matrix as you. So just make the same. Yeah, you have to just do your thing and make your decision. Yeah, but like, I'm glad you know the cost. Like that's the most important thing. Yeah. You over here?
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. In any time, basic field or specifically in finance, you're kind of expected to give up your sleep schedule.
Yes.
And then the only time an exception is really made is if you're saying you're going to the gym. So it's a very private culture, so it's like you have to the gym. But I guess it's if you want that high paced job in finance and those connections for entrepreneurship eventually, that sleep regimen that you pointed out, to be honest, it seems that in those high finance fields, the concentration of psychopaths like exponentially increases, and they're the ones that are able to stick to that regime because they're going to be the stress at work. They
Yeah.
become immune.
Yeah.
Stick to that schedule, but I guess when you answer the question, right, it's the cost. It's the cost trade-off.
Yeah. By the way, I bet it's 8:26 right now. What time is it?
8:30.
I just felt my adenosine drop. This is how consistent my sleep is. I'm telling you. So adenosine drops in the brain, it's like, you are ready. It just dropped as you were talking. Like it just is this total wave and I become absolutely exhausted. It is, I'm telling you, it is so good to hit consistency. Yeah.
So I've tried Blueprint out a couple of months and stuff. So I guess my question is, like I did, like let's do some blood work, right? Something is off. Like, how do you go down to isolating what it is that you need to change about your lifestyle to get better results?
Yeah. So those of you who aren't aware, so I have a company, Blueprint. When Blueprint went viral, the most common request was, I want to do this, but make it easy. Right now, it's way too hard. And so we did that. We have it in a set of products. So basically, I took all of my Blueprint protocol and made it into this easy, low-cost thing. It is the most scientifically backed protocol in the world at the best price. I'm telling you, it is legit the best. So I don't say it to, I don't want to promote my stuff because this conversation is more important. We also have coming out, I'll just say this quickly, we have basically every calorie someone eats on a daily basis is coming out. And so one thing I've learned at Blueprint is like when I started doing this, we started measuring everything, like all the foods I was eating, all the supplements, and we found out a few things to be true. One is people's labels are not accurate. Two is food is horrifically dirty. Yeah, anyone who's seen the data, it is terrifying. Like last month alone, we spent $50,000 testing food. We test for heavy metals, we test for microplastics, we test for pesticides, herbicides, like all things. And so I think Blueprint will have the cleanest food in the entire world. And we publish all of our lab reports. So I just don't trust my word, like look at our lab reports next to it. And then we also have a bunch of tests. So we have the world's first microplastics test, we just came out with last week. We have biological age, and we have blood work and MRIs. So to answer your question, what we'll have up and running in roughly 60 days is we'll have doctors in the Blueprint community. So you do the protocol, and then a doctor will get you results from your labs and say, here's what's going well, here's what we need to fix. So hopefully we're gonna solve the whole thing for you. So if you say, yes, I'm in, we're gonna give you all your food, all your tests, and a doctor to keep everything in place. So we're gonna try to build the world's best don't die company. So we're gonna compete on your biomarkers. We want to like legit be based upon data. So it's not just like some silly story. So yeah, like we're really trying to be like first in class in the world.
So I did take a Blueprint, but the only thing I would say is like I felt my cholesterol levels actually shifted for the bad.
Which ones?
Sorry?
Which ones?
My cholesterol has gone below good threshold, like whatever that is. So I was actually surprised because starting a year ago. So I really wanted to see now, hey, what is it that's changed?
Yeah.
Why is this not helping in, while on other fronts it's helping me a lot, I feel like on that one, my fit is really off and I'm kind of
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so as a doctor could look at it holistically. Yeah, sometimes there are these second order effects that are unexpected. Yeah, but cholesterol is an unexpected one because you've got olive oil, taking it down, and a whole bunch of others. So yeah, a doctor could certainly poke at it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
We met actually in Dubai.
Yeah.
I remember we got off the same plane, and so yeah,
Yeah.
it's really interesting what you said about travel and everything. Quick question, so like state of life question. I have a young family, kids below 1, twins actually. It's really hard to get consistent 8 hours of sleep, even more so for my wife who's always milk and everything. Any advice on that?
Yeah, so I have 3 kids, and the first 2 are colicky, and they were just like absolute nightmare. And so if I were to do this again, I would sit the kids down, even when they're 1. Right? Kids understand a lot more than we give them credit to. And I would say, like family, we are a family of sleep. Like that is our culture. And I would set rules for everybody and give people stars. But everyone, like we eat at a certain time, we go to bed at a certain time, unless the house is on fire, nobody gets up. And so like, one, I agree is hard, right? But like generally speaking, you can create a family culture of sleep. And whereas right now, like in most families, just like absolute chaos, like screens are on all the time, everyone's eating all the time. So I would do that with my kids. And since I started doing this, we have this with my family. It's like at 8:30 p.m., my son and I both run to our bedrooms. Like it's like this funny thing we do. We're like, hey, we acknowledge that sleep is really important for us. So I hear you, I feel your pain. It's very, very hard, especially for your wife. But I think there's definitely some proactive things to do to just as a family say like, we do this. And then mom and dad, everyone's consistent. So yeah, cool, yeah.
So for years, I had different, like 2 hours here, 3 hours for, so my body seems to have set its own its own sleep clock. And that's like 6 hours. It's like no matter
Yeah.
how late I stay, whatever, it's like 6 hours of sleep and I'm up. So it seemed like it would be hard to get 8 when my body says.
Yeah.
And then also I grew up eating later at night. So now if I try to eat early 5, 6, I'm starved by the time, 9 o'clock. And then the last thing is, I don't think you address like when do you stop work, like exercise, when do you, how soon should they stop that?
Yeah, exercise earlier. Exercise late in the day can have negative effects. So there's a few things you can do to test whether your sleep routine is working. So there's this new marker we measured this week called, it's like S100B. I think that's it. And it's a reference range between something like 2 and 100, and you want to be right in the middle. If you're too high, it means that you have damage happening in your brain. So okay, let me say this again. 1 night of bad sleep increases your S100B levels to a level as if you got a traumatic brain injury. It allows a toxin to get into your brain. It works through the blood-brain barrier. And a middle of us, like 63 or so, 50, 63, is ideal. And so what you can do is you can measure this marker in your body, and it will tell you whether your protocol is helpful for your brain or hurtful for your brain. Because when you're getting bad sleep, you basically have the conditions of a traumatic brain injury. It's like not only are your NK cells wrong and your nighttime erections are gone, also like you're literally suffering a traumatic brain injury. So that's a way to use data to then assess whether you're on point, versus if someone just gives you a story, like, do this or that, don't listen to them. Just trust the data. So I'd say get that marker and see where you're at. Yeah. Either one.
I was wondering, we're all genetically unique, we're all different, and your protocol is set on some parameters. How do you kind of address that genetic variability?
We have a lot more in common than we do difference. So the majority of the protocol I have is built on population level studies, not on individuals. So like the sleep stuff is entirely population level. Bedtime's population level, eating vegetables is population level. So 99% of everything we put out is population level stuff. And so even the blueprint supplements, those are population level too. And so, like for example, what I share publicly, I do the blueprint stack myself, and then I supplement a few things. Like I'm a vegan, so I supplement iron. But otherwise, like it's a population level thing. And then you can find like deficiencies like cholesterol, whatever the case may be. But the point is that people over-index personalization and under-index population level stuff. So I'd say I think the correct thought process is the majority of things are population level applicable, and it's only a small number of things that are personalized. Like if you have a deficiency in vitamin D or omegas or whatever the case may be. Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna wrap. Cool hanging out with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, what's that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
You're putting in research, there's over 2,000 peptides, you're on a few yourself. What are your favorite? Have you considered, or are you considering releasing any sort of peptides as well? Because Bruce, as that big advocate, there's like, it's a big trend, but there's minimal research for a reason, right? So
yeah, we've been playing ever so lightly in peptides. They're complicated, and there's not a lot of data. And so what we've tried to carve out is we want to be the most trustworthy group in the entire world because we're based on data. Yep. And so people like, cool to experiment, that's great. We just try to be firmly planted in evidence. And as you acknowledge, it's just like not a ton of peptide. Exactly. Yeah. Cool. So we'll follow the evidence. Like we've tried to just be like, it creates blind spots for us. Like there's peptides can do so many good things. We just don't do them because we want to be rigorous in the science. So we miss out on a lot of positive stuff. Sorry guys, we'll wrap. Let me just give you just a few quick final thoughts. I hope you're leaving tonight convinced that you can be your best self and prioritize your health. Okay, if you still have doubts, don't. Okay, you're ambitious, you've got big dreams for yourself and everyone around you, and it takes some courage to step in the direction where you will trust that taking care of your health is worthwhile. Number 2 is I want to invite you, if we could pull up one last slide, yeah. So we have a community in Don't Die. If you, actually there's a QR code, one more. Yeah, if you want to join the community, we're building systems around Don't Die. So you get a daily Don't Die score, your wearable connects to this app, and it tracks your exercise and your sleep and your activity throughout the day, and you get a score. And so we're trying to track it. We're going to change it to be a vitality score or something, but we're going to add more and more metrics on. So basically we're trying to step into this algorithm. So join the community, and of course you're around people, like-minded people. And then 4 is invitation. We're trying to build Don't Die chapters around the world. So a lot of people really enjoy, who want to pursue their health. They struggle with friends who want to do the same thing. So we're trying to build Don't Die leadership, where people host weekly or bi-weekly or monthly gatherings. And it can be a health practice, it can be a philosophy group, it can be a political group, it can be whatever you want. But we're trying to build this around the world to, again, map to 1 billion of us being associated with Don't Die in the next couple of years. So great hanging out with you guys. Wish you guys all the very best. Be well.